Hello, I want to make a short about the plant lights. I am asked almost every day, what kind of light are you using? And what kind of light should I buy for my planted tank? And it's a quite complicated topic. How do you know that the light you're buying is sufficient for the plants you are growing? Well, first of all, it's important to know what kind of plants you want to grow, because the different plants have different light requirements. Low-tech tanks can get away with a lot less light than high-tech tanks or high-energy tanks. So typically you have like low light plants, medium light plants, and high light plants. And there are all of these measures listed on your light, and you can't really decide if that's the right light for you. So the measure of wattage, watts, how many watts, is a measure of how much energy your light is using. In the past, there was a recommendation of 1 watt per gallon, which currently doesn't really apply because that applied to a T5 fluorescent lights, and most people don't use those anymore. So LED is going to use much less watt of energy but produce more light output. Therefore, watts are not a good measure of light. Then you have kelvins. If your light is listing kelvins, that is referring to the color temperature. The temperature of the light is only important to your human eye, not to the plants. Typical aquarium lights will be between 65 and 7500 Kelvin, with 65 looking more like your household lights and 75 looking more like daylight. So you can choose something that you like. Some people like daylight lights, really bright and white. Some like them to be a little bit warmer. Some lights come, with those apps where you can adjust colors and the tone of the colors and all of that. Honestly, kelvins or the temperature of the light overall is not that important for your plants. So it's not a significant measure that will tell you if you're getting enough light. Then you have lumens. Lumens measure the visible spectrum. They measure how much light do we see as humans. So in that estimation, lumens give preference to the yellow and green spectrum and less preference to the red and blue spectrum. However, plants use both red and blue and green colors, and therefore this lumen measure is also not the best way to estimate your light. However, it can give you an indication of how much light you're getting. Plants really don't care where the light is coming from. Plants don't care if your light is expensive. Plants don't care if your light is stylish. All they care about is to receive the amount of photons, light photons, needed for the photosynthesis. So the only true measure of how much light you're getting in your aquarium is called PAR, or photosynthetically available radiation. This is what plants want to photosynthesize. In order to know how much PAR you're getting, the only way is to buy a PAR meter and measure how much PAR you're getting at different points in your aquarium. The deeper in the water, the PAR will be less than at the top of the water because it decreases significantly as it penetrates through the water column. The blue spectrum is the strongest and penetrates the most deeply. That's why you see a lot of blue in reefing. For the planted tanks, however, you're looking at something that is pleasant to look at, has enough output, and the full spectrum that the plants need, including those reds and blues and greens. Therefore, there is no simple answer as far as what light you should buy. Plants, as I said, don't really care where the light comes from. Is it daylight? Is it from your LED fixture? Is it from ambient lighting? Gosh, you can even grow plants with a desk lamp. So don't be hung up too much on, how your light looks, or, it really doesn't matter. So the best way to know if your plants are getting enough light, if they're growing and they're happy, they're not being covered in algae, meaning that they're getting maybe too much light, they're not getting burned. They are pearling. When you see pearling, that's a good sign that the light is there, available to the plants, and they are photosynthesizing and utilizing it. So that is a layman's way of determining if you're getting enough PAR. But light is energy. Light is food to plants. So if you're not getting enough, your plants are not going to prosper. Again, it depends what type of plants you're growing. The low light plants, you can get away with pretty much anything. Even sometimes the kit light that comes with your tank could be sufficient to grow low light plants like Anubias, Valsinarias, Lucifillandras, maybe some crypts. But if you're going into the intermediate category, which is usually stem plants, and then the difficult category, which involves a little bit more attention to your parameters, and with a high energy tank, you're giving your plants a lot of light, a lot of fruits, a lot of carbon that involves a carbon dioxide injection. So, in that case, the light intensity becomes really important. So the best way to buy a light is to buy a light designed for plant growth. I personally use a lot of Twinstar lights. They are considered to be affordable option in aquascaping. And even though they're pretty pricey compared to like something you can find on Amazon, they are considered to be an affordable aquascaping lights. The downside of Twinstar lights is that they are designed to fit over a rimless aquarium. So if you have a rim tank, you can't really use them unless you buy a pendant version. And that's the one that you can suspend from your ceiling. Now, in terms of Twinstar series, they have 4 levels of lights. The lowest light level is a B. That's what you're looking at. I decided to use that light that has the least output to light this paludarium that has mostly Anubias, Crypt parvo, mosses, and things like that. The next series is a series C. C is also good enough for maybe low to maybe some medium light plants. It doesn't give out a lot of output. It is pretty pleasant to look at. It does give you quite a bit of light for the money, and it's not very expensive either. So B and C are the most affordable. Next one up is E series, and that series Twinstar says is enough to grow pretty much anything. I consider E series to be medium to high light, maybe more medium than high, and it is the best value for your buck in terms of how much light you're getting versus how much money you've spent. And then the highest category is S series, which is designed for the high energy tank or the high light needs of the plant. S series would definitely be an overkill on a low tech tank, because if you provide plants with light, but you're not providing plants with carbon and other things that they need for their rapid growth, you're just basically feeding algae. And you've heard that many times, too much light will lead to algae. So it's really important to fit your light to your setup and to fit your light to the plants you're growing. S-series in Twinstar comes with fixed legs, with adjustable legs, and also as a pendant that you can suspend off the light bar or a ceiling. It's my preferred light. If I get too much output, I can always dim it. Although Twinstar doesn't really provide a dimmer or a switch on the light, they think they're smarter than us, and they just allow you to turn on and off on a timer. Basically, the plug-in is all you have with those lights. I've had really good experience with Twinstar, and they're very suitable, affordable option for the high-tech planted aquarium. But again, as I said, the answer is not so simple. If you're buying lights off of Amazon, most of the ones I looked at are really low light plant lights. They are designed for growing plants, but they're designed to grow low to maybe some medium light plants. The light output is not that much. So if you're trying to estimate how many Kelvins, how many lumens, how many watts, you're gonna get into the world of confusion. Because as much as I tried to figure that out and table it in Excel and compare different lights for sale and then compare that with my results, it's not so clear cut. So buy the light that fits for your particular tank size, for the plants you're growing, and for the type of setup you're needing. So again, I didn't quite give you the answer, but the only real way to know how much you're getting is to buy a PAR meter, which is very expensive, usually between $500 and $600, and most hobbies don't own one. So the way I do it is I just kind of eye it and see how the plants are growing. If the tank is happy and successful, it means I have enough light. Sometimes I have to adjust my light period, my light intensity, and things like that. But don't get too hung up with that question, what light you're using. The brand doesn't matter so much. What matters more is your output fitting the type of setup and the plants you're growing. I hope this helps a little bit. And I hope you got some information about lights that could be helpful to you in deciding what next light to buy. Thanks for watching.